What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and we finally have the Samsung Galaxy S10e in the house. I know it's a little bit delayed, but couldn't get hold of this early here in the UK. It was just on release date, which is today. But anyway, let's give it the SuperSaf unboxing treatment and get straight to it. Right, so on the box we have the S10e logo, and it is in this sort of yellow color, and that's because we've got the Canary yellow. Now the Canary yellow is unique to the S10e. The other colors are available on the S10 and S10 Plus as well, but this is quite unique, so hopefully you haven't seen a Canary yellow unboxing as yet. And what does the E stand for? Well, as far as I'm aware, it stands for Essential, and that's because you've got all of the essentials of the S10s in the smaller and cheaper package. This starts at around £670 here in the UK, or around $750 in the US, which is pretty good in my opinion for what you're getting. Comes with a base of 128 gigabytes of storage. Right, so let's go ahead and get it outside of the box. Ooh, so we actually have like an inner box on the top half, and the phone is here. Ooh, oh, that is bright. Very, very bright. Okay, we're gonna leave that to the side for just a second while we see what else we get inside the box. There's a SIM card ejector tool, there's some paperwork, there's a fast charger, a USB Type-A to USB Type-C cable, and then we've got a few adapters. This is USB Type-A to USB Type-C, and then we've got micro USB to USB Type-C. So these are gonna be useful to use your previous cables and also for data transfer and things like that. And then we've got some AKG earphones, and these are braided with a 3.5mm connector because the S10e, as with the other S10s, has a 3.5mm jack. Woohoo! Now getting to the phone, this thing has a very, very striking yellow color. Let's get rid of the back plastic. I kind of do like it, but I'm going to be sticking a dbrand skin onto this. I'm currently loving the black swarm, which looks so dope, and that's going to give us a combination of black and yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. So if you want to pick up a skin from our channel sponsor dbrand, I'm going to be leaving a link to them in the description below. There's currently 20% off all skins. Now we've got a metal frame which is in this sort of gold color, which does match the yellow at the back. And I gotta say, it feels very premium in the hand, and because the edges are also curved in, it's quite comfortable. And the first impression straight away is that this is so compact. It kind of like fits nicely in my hand anyway. And that's because we've got a 5.8-inch display on here as opposed to the larger displays on the S10 and S10 Plus. And not only is the display smaller compared to the S10 and S10 Plus, it's also got a flat display, whereas we've got curved displays on the others. And we've had curved displays on the Galaxy S devices for the past couple of years now, so it's great that Samsung are bringing back a flat display, because I know a lot of people do prefer a flat display. Curved displays look super sexy, but not everybody finds them practical or useful. So I'm glad that they now do have this option. It's a beautiful display. We've got minimal bezels. I'd say that they are a little bit thicker compared to the S10 and S10 Plus. And then we've got that punch out for the front-facing camera. Samsung once again has the wallpaper darker towards the top right-hand corner, so you don't notice it as much. And I have to say, I've not really minded the punch out on the S10 Plus after using it for a couple of weeks. It's something that you sort of kind of forget because it is tucked away in the corner. Now for the display, you do have dynamic AMOLED technology. I've already been on record to say that the S10 Plus has the best mobile display in the market right now. And this is also really nice. However, you don't get the same resolution. You've got Full HD Plus on here, whereas you've got Quad HD Plus on the S10 and S10 Plus. But I gotta say, it still looks absolutely beautiful, and it's still very crisp. Because of this small screen size, you're not really losing out on too much PPI pixel density. Now, one other thing with the S10e is that you do get a pre-applied screen protector. Samsung don't usually do this, but it's great that we do have one included. It's a plastic screen protector. Now, my S10 Plus did also have a plastic screen protector, but it actually had a cutout for the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. This is not the case here because we don't have an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner on the S10e. Now, this punch-out camera at the front is the same as what we've got on the S10 and S10 Plus, which is 10 megapixels with an f1.9 aperture. However, you don't get the secondary depth camera that you also get on the S10 Plus. Now, this is something that I'm definitely interested in. How much of an effect is that going to have on live focus from the front-facing camera? I'll definitely let you guys know. I think the S10 Plus does an absolutely great job at edge detection, one of the best out there, and I do think that's thanks to that depth camera. It'll be interesting to see how this performs. As with the other models, you do get 4K UHD video recording from the front-facing camera, so if you're somebody into vlogging, the S10e is still going to be a great option. Now, the fingerprint scanner isn't within the display, so where is it? Well, it's here on the right-hand side of the power button. Now, I do think it's a little bit higher, but because the device is quite compact and easy to use in one hand, You can reach it pretty easily. You just have to give it a quick tap and it's going to unlock for you. You can either do this from the lock screen, or when you just press the button from when the device is off, it's straight away going to let you in. And I gotta say, it's super fast. It is actually faster compared to the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, but that is one of the compromises you have to make with an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner because it is under the display. So some of you guys might actually prefer this quicker fingerprint scanner here on the right hand side of the S10e as opposed to what we've got on the S10 and S10 Plus. On the left hand side, there's the volume rocker and the Bixby button. Now, the good news is this year, if you don't like Bixby, you can remap this. So a single press is gonna maybe like open the camera or another app. You can't get it to open Google Assistant, however, so that's something to bear in mind. But it is nice that you've got more options this year. At the bottom, there is a 3.5mm jack, as mentioned earlier on. There's a USB Type-C port. There is a bottom firing speaker. We've got another front firing speaker in the earpiece. At the top, there is a SIM card tray. Now, as well as your SIM card, there is space here for a micro SD card. So you can expand the storage on this. And it already comes with a base of 128 gigabytes with 6 gigabytes of RAM. And there's also another option available with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. So storage should really not be a problem here on the S10e. Now let's take a look at the back. Now this is where we've got another big difference compared to the S10 and S10 Plus. And that's because the S10e has 2 cameras as opposed to 3. The primary camera is 12 megapixels and it has a variable aperture, so it's going to switch between f1.5 and f2.4 depending on the lighting you're seeing. It's got optical image stabilization, dual pixel autofocus, all of the good stuff. Now the secondary camera, this is quite interesting because traditionally for a secondary camera, Samsung has always opted for a telephoto camera where it's going to give you 2 times optical zoom. Not here on the S10e. You have that amazing 16 megapixels ultra wide camera. Now I absolutely love this on the S10 Plus. It's probably been one of my favorite things on the phone, and I'm so glad Samsung have opted for the ultra wide rather than the telephoto here on the secondary camera of the S10e. It's got an f2.2 aperture, and if you do buy the S10e, I'm pretty sure you're going to be super happy with this ultra wide. The only thing you're missing out on is that telephoto camera, which you get on the S10 and S10 Plus. Might not be a big deal for a lot of people. We still have IP68 water and dust resistance, and internally this is either powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 processor or Samsung's Exynos 9820. This is going to vary depending on your region. I've only had a chance to test out the Exynos version so far. I'm hoping to get hold of a Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 version, and if you do want to see some comparisons of the Exynos versus the Snapdragon, then definitely let me know in the comments below. Software-wise, we do have One UI, and I've really been liking One UI. It's very clean and it's also very smooth, and it's very easy to use with one hand. So for instance, I'm here in my notification toggle. I can just swipe down to bring everything down. So I can swipe down anywhere, and it just makes things so much more reachable. If I go into messaging, then once again, I have this header here, so I can reach everything here with my thumb. And this is more so the case with the S10e because of its overall smaller size. For the battery, it's 3100 mAh, which is a pretty decent size for this phone. We've got wireless charging 2.0, which is pretty fast. And we've also got wireless PowerShare. This is where you can use your S10e to charge other Qi-enabled devices. And there we have it, guys. That is the S10e finally in the house. I'm so excited to test this out more. What videos would you like me to do with the S10e? Definitely let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see all of those new videos that come up straight away, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any coverage. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.